I want to talk about a really good remedy for angina, as well as any type of irregular heartbeat. And this natural remedy would be a good thing to keep around someone with pre-existing heart problems, heart failure, past heart attacks, especially if you're flying on a plane. Keep it with you. And the remedy is called Hawthorn berry extract. It's been used for a very long time for all sorts of circulatory problems as well as respiratory illness, specifically irregular heartbeats, hypertension, chest pain, hardening of the arteries, as well as other symptoms related to heart failure, like difficulty breathing as well as fatigue. But today it's primarily used for angina, that's chest pain, because it increases blood flow and it helps to restore a normal heartbeat. There's quite a bit of research on this natural remedy demonstrating significant improvements in heart function, increased ability to exercise after someone had heart failure. It was found to be just as effective as the medication captopril, which is for heart conditions. And there's also improvements in shortness of breath and fatigue. Now, how does it create these very cool effects? Well, there are certain phytonutrients in this natural plant that helps dilate the blood vessels, increasing blood flow, as well as protecting the inside of the vessel from oxidation and free radical damage. Now, before taking this remedy or any remedies to replace your medication, check with your doctor first. I'm not recommending this is going to cure your heart or replace any medicine. Now, the two compounds they isolated that create the most effect are number one, proanthocyanins, as well as the bioflavonoids. These two natural compounds have a very specific effect of relaxing the coronary artery, which is many times involved in heart attacks because it can go into a spasm. And so this is why I say that this would be a good thing to take if you're traveling, if you're on a plane, if you're out and about. Keep some in your pocket just in case.
Hey guys, in this video we want to talk about loud pounding pulse rate. Here you are trying to sleep and you got this pulse rate that's so loud in your ear, it interferes with your ability to rest and go to bed at night. You should never hear your pulse rate ever on the pillow when you're sleeping. And that basically is a simple potassium deficiency. That's all it is. And we need a lot of potassium. Potassium seems to be the physiological tranquilizer. It relaxes the heart and the pulse rate. So the way you become deficient is by having too much glucose or sugar. Okay, so that would be all the candies and cookies and things like that. Not to mention the other carbs, refined carbs, breads and pasta and cereal. Anything that involves refined grains, okay, that would be creating the same situation. But if you're consuming a food, let's say cane sugar, which naturally comes with a lot of potassium, like if you're chewing on sugar cane, you'll never have this problem. But white sugar, you will, because it doesn't have any potassium and it'll just suck out the potassium. Okay, and then stress can also deplete your potassium. A lot of stress, even shock to the body. I remember having an accident. I fell off my bike over the handlebars and landed in the cement because the chain fell off. There was a defect in the bike and I fell on my elbow, crushed it. Had tremendous amount of trauma in a very short period of time. My potassium levels just went right down to nothing. I mean, it was crazy. So that adrenaline, that stress can just drop your potassium levels. Then insulin. That can come from, again, from consuming sugars, or let's say you're diabetic and you're taking insulin, that can deplete your potassium levels right there. So that's one other source, and that could be why your heart is pounding. And then also diet. Let's say you're just not consuming enough of the foods with potassium. You need about 7 to 10 cups of vegetable per day to get your potassium, like 4,700 milligrams. If you have rheumatoid arthritis or some other arthritic type thing, you might need up to 5,000 to 6,000 milligrams, okay? Even if you go through stress, you need a little bit more. But the foods that are highest in potassium are beet tops, avocados, leafy greens. Okay, those are the top, and you just need to start consuming those. So if you have this situation, go ahead and get some potassium, either from a supplement or from food, and let us know how that affects your pulse rate. Thanks for watching.
Now, I saw this study on push-ups in relationship to the group of people who can do more push-ups have less heart disease. There was a cohort study involving over 1,000 people, and they showed a significant negative association between baseline push-up capacity and incidence in cardiovascular disease risk for over 10 years. So they compared participants who can do 40 or more push-ups to people who can only do 10 or less push-ups. Now, personally, I don't think that being able to do more push-ups will decrease your risk for heart attacks, but I think people that can do more push-ups are more fit. Usually they're more healthy. And just as a side note, I'm very curious, how many push-ups can you do? Put it in the comments down below. I want to read that and check it out. What I am more interested in is how much did this study cost? And who pays for these studies? Because what they should be studying, which is way more important, is the causation of heart disease, since it's the #1 killer. They should be doing studies in the relationship between how cardiovascular disease starts. It starts with inflammation in the inner lining of your arteries. The inflammation develops plaquing, hardening of the arteries, and then it starts to obstruct blood flow. Now you also have clots that can develop and cause heart attacks, which is slightly different, and those clots can break off and go right into your brain and give you a stroke. So the question is, does push-ups reduce inflammation? And the answer is, I don't think so. What does increase inflammation is the chronic consumption of refined sugar. Now, by the way, when you consume sugar with vitamins, the vitamins protect against inflammation, FYI. Not that I'm telling you to do that, but the fact is that the majority of the population is consuming the refined sugars. They should study diabetics with the amount of excess glucose floating through the inside of their arteries. I think refined oils are at the top of the list too. That's high in omega-6, highly inflammatory. Then you have refined flours, you have smoking, you have stress, and the big one is vitamin E deficiency. If you have enough vitamin E in your body, you can protect against a lot of problems in the inside of the artery simply because vitamin E is one of the most powerful antioxidants for cardiovascular problems, because vitamin E protects against oxidation on the inside of your arteries. I mean, I could probably bet that if you compared people who can do a lot more pull-ups against the group that does a lot less pull-ups, they're probably going to have less heart disease. People that can bike longer than people that can't, or people that can hike longer than people that can't, will have a decreased heart risk. Not because of the exercise itself, it's just because they probably have a healthier lifestyle. Now, if you haven't seen my recent video on reversing cardiovascular disease, I put it down below. Check it out.
Before you go real quick, I have a course entitled How to Bulletproof Your Immune System. It's a free course. I want you to take it. And here's why. Here's you. Here is your environment. Everyone is focused on this over here, avoiding your environment. But what about here? What about strengthening your immune system? That's what's missing. This course will show you how to bulletproof yourself, and so you can tolerate and resist your environment much better by strengthening your own immune system. I put a link down in the description right down below. Check it out and get signed up today.